All right, so I'm out here in the shop, and I'm just going to go through really quick my kind of niche everyday carry sling. And I'm just going to go over kind of why I stuck with the Peak design over the PGYTech options. So I have here a couple different camera lenses and stuff, and we'll see what kind of fits in these two bags if you were to try and get them. I haven't seen a ton of videos comparing the PGYTech One Go and One Mo or something. I don't know. Yeah, they're both good for certain things, just not for me. And so I wanted to kind of go through the differences between the three bags, and then kind of why I chose what I chose and what I carry in my sling. Let's start off talking about these two bags. This is the One Mo sling in 7 liters. This is the One Go Solo V2, and it is 6 liters. And this also has an expansion pocket here that adds a couple liters. All right, right off the bat, let's talk about the similarities. Both of these have one main compartment that has enough room for some camera gear, and it comes with a couple dividers. This one comes with 2 dividers with these little fold down flaps. The one over here comes with 4 dividers, but 2 of them are just single little cards that kind of partition off spots. They both have a carry handle on the back, luggage pass-through carry handle. Both have similar straps. You can see them dusty out here in the shop. Both have similar straps with a similar adjusting mechanism on the side here. I would say the One Go feels a little bit more cushiony, a little bit squishier. This one feels a little bit stiffer, but you can see that situation. Both have one outside pocket here with no internal organization, just one big pocket here. And you can see that here. Both have straps on the bottom, so these ones are already attached. This one, they have loops for it, and the straps are just inside here that you can use here to attach, say, jacket, tripod, something like that. And then, yeah, both have similar capacities. Let's talk about the differences really quick. Okay, one thing I like about the One Go sling, it's got one zipper with zippers on both sides, but you can open, if I open it part way, I can kind of reach in here and grab something. So if I had my camera here on the side, I could open it part way, grab my camera. For example, I frequently carry my Osmo Pocket 3, and if I had it on the side here, I could open the zipper part way and take it out. On this guy, because the lid is kind of a rectangular shape, if I open it part way, it's kind of here, but if I had anything in the lid, it wouldn't really fold. And so to get access, you kind of have to unzip the whole thing. And this one really, you know, to get full access, you have to unzip the whole thing. And that's kind of the main thing that I like about my Peak design bag is I can unzip a corner, open up a flap and see it. But this one has pockets on the top here. And so when I had stuff in it, I couldn't just like fold it like this. So that's one of the big drawbacks to this bag, I think, is that you have to unzip it all the way. One of the pros on this bag, there's this adjustable part on the front here. I've seen people put full-size gimbals in here. You could also put, say, a jacket or, you know, you could put anything, right? But I've seen the use that I would use it for is to put a gimbal in there. I have a DJI Mini 4 gimbal, and it would just sit in here and kind of stick out one end. Not super common that I take it with a sling bag, but it's useful that you can have it. One other cool thing about the One Mo is it has this attachment point for a capture clip. So like Peak Design, or I mean, there's a bunch of brands that make them now, but just the little capture clip to mount your camera on the outside. So if you had a small camera and you were hiking, you could clip it on here and unclip it and take photos. Otherwise, if you want to do that on the other slings, you'd have to get one just attached to the strap, which is just the webbing. So I like that this has a dedicated spot for it. Real quick, one other feature of this one is the expanding top, which adds some vertical space here. So from here, it just adds up that much. And the main 2 benefits of that I can find are it'll fit an 11-inch, or sorry, this is my 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And with the expanded pocket, it'll actually fit in here and zip like that. So if you want to carry a massive iPad in your sling, the expanded pocket will let you do that. The other thing that it will do is it will let you carry vertically. This is a 70 to 200, and you can see that it will fit in here with a little bit of slack room to spare. So it'll fit almost with it closed. It looks like it'll fit. I'm sure this is for a Fujifilm. The Canon one I think might be a little bit longer, but yeah, it'll fit standing up a full-size lens. So I could take this as well as my camera body and some other gear. Otherwise, there's not a ton of organization on the internals of this bag. So you can see here, one big pocket here. That's where I would put like a notebook or a tablet. Like I said, you can fit a full-size iPad in here if you use the expanded pocket. Then there's these dividers. There's 2 of these little ones and 2 of these bigger ones that have the kind of the flaps on the bottom. No other pockets on the inside here. There is this one pocket here. And then in the lid, this one has a pocket up here with the battery charge status indicators. And then there are 4, and then one little small one over here. 4 kind of bigger battery pockets and one small one over here. You can see that. I like this better than the magnets in the newer bag, but to each his own. The last pocket here on the outside opens up. There's 2 little mesh dividers and this little pocket here. One of the problems with some of these bags that are going for streamlined is if you fill the top of this, it puts pressure here, and then it makes it harder to put things in here and vice versa. And that is the 1Mo Sling 7 liter. Okay, moving over to the 1Go. This is the 6 liter version. You can see here already a lot more internal organization. So tablet sleeve, pockets here. There's 2 filter pockets right here. And there's a big open area here with a magnetic divider here. So keep some things kind of tucked away. Then up here in the lid, sort of top area, there's the divider here for batteries or whatever else, if you can see that. And it has these that you can flip over, little magnet charge status indicators. The other thing that this one has is a pen loop right here. You can see that. And yeah, I'll just show you size comparison. Without this one expanded, I mean, it's not even close, right? So you can see nowhere near close enough. And really, even a smaller tablet would be hard to fit in here because of these coming out so far, like this being so thick. So to fit anything back here, it's got to be, you know, got to be able to angle like this, or you have to be able to fold this behind it or something. And then, so main pocket, lots of organization inside. And then this outside pocket, of course, with almost nothing, and it's not huge, and it's also pretty snug. Like there's not a lot of give here. So if you had the inside really packed out, I think it would put too much pressure on here for you to really fit a lot of stuff in there. But it's useful to have an outside quick access pocket. So I'm a fan of it. One last feature that's kind of interesting about this is the water bottle pocket. So basically, little tucked away water bottle pouch, and it just goes back in here. Just like that. So nothing wrong with it. But these two, the main thing is I can't fit a couple things that I can fit in my Peak Design sling. So let's go over to that one. All right, so this is my Peak Design 7 liter outdoor sling, and I've chosen to keep it instead of switching to one of the PGYTech slings. And yeah, I'll kind of go through what I keep in here. This is, for the record, overkill. And the question that I frequently ask myself is, do I need all these things? And the answer is most likely no, but maybe. And the Boy Scout ADHD prepper in me says, you know what, let's carry it just in case. So this guy is a chunker right now. Okay, real quick, the bag features. Adjustable straps on the bottom, just like the other 2 bags. I usually just use that to put up a coat, but you can also put a small tripod, something like that. It has this outside pocket here, and I have packed this full of things. So, random thing. So flashlight, pencil, eraser, and this has some cards in it and stuff. And then I have my keys on my spare truck key, and some pens, lens pen, and a small multi-tool. This outside pocket, you can see no organization except a key lanyard, but it's pretty spacious. And there's also this back pocket with a little magnet. It doesn't really fit a ton of stuff, especially when the inside's packed out. Right now I just have like a little sweatband in there. Anyway, okay, opening up on the inside. So the main feature I like about this bag over the other 2 is that I can fit my Freeride Traveler and a sketchbook. The other 2, basically I'd have to take out all the dividers, and then even then it was snug for this guy, and just didn't quite fit as nicely as it does in here. The problem with this bag is there's very little padding unless you buy the extra small camera cube, but at the capacity that it is, the camera cube takes up space, making it so I probably would only be able to pick one or the other. And having ADHD means I have so many hobbies that I like having both options. There's a big open area here. Then there are 3 mesh pockets. On here I have a phone battery and my headphones. And then usually I'll have here the DJI Mic 2 capsule that goes with my Pocket 3. In the back here, I have a bunch of random sort of drawing supplies. So mechanical pencil, ruler, erasers, lead, a videography multi-tool, some earplugs, chapstick, just kind of random stuff like that, and then a mini first aid kit bag, mostly bandages, but just some random little first aid kit things. I'm a little bit of a prepper now, and I'm not sure if it's my ADHD or the Boy Scout in me, but that's kind of where we're at. This is sort of my EDC toolkit, and I can go over this some other time. And yeah, this is just a mini little, my wife calls it my mini pharmacy. It's just a combination of some pills for medication and then like painkillers and allergy meds, stuff like that. With this system, it'll fit all of these, and there's enough space right here. You can kind of see that I usually put my Osmo Pocket 3 in here. Right now, the Osmo Pocket 3 case, I have a cage on it, and then this little guy from Ulanzi. The other option to put in here is if I slide this out of the way, I can put my full-size mirrorless in here with a smaller lens. So this guy does not usually fit with the notebook and the Freeride Traveler, but if I take this massive lens off, this is still a beefy camera. This is basically a full-size camera. It's about the size of an R6 Mark II, but this is the Fujifilm X-H2S, but it will fit in here as well. Wow, it is snug. But you can see it's like snug and beefy, but it'll fit my full setup. And if you just have, say, a notebook in here instead of this Freeride Traveler beast, it fits even better. But so you can see it fits a sketchbook in here, camera with a pancake lens, and then some other EDC kind of gear. This will fit in here. You got to make some creative decisions about where you pack stuff. But yeah, you can see there's a little bit of space here, but with the Fujifilm, a full-size lens, it's pretty snug, but it will fit. This is the 16-55 f2.8. And if I took out everything, I still don't think this lens would really fit in there with the camera body, but it looks like it would, but that would be about the only thing I could fit in here. You would also probably take off this tripod handle. The main benefit of this bag is that it's super thin fabric and lightweight. It is still water resistant, but the main benefit is that it'll kind of mold around what you put in there. The other two bags have a much stiffer frame because of all the padding, where they kind of hold their shape. And so if there's things that don't quite fit, it just pushes out on areas and it makes some of the pockets harder to use. This one, because it's so loose, it gives you a lot of freedom to kind of work around the weird shapes of things. So you can see on here on my Freeride Traveler, there's a little spot. That's when I try to fit my camera with a 24-70 and also this in there. And I didn't have the sketchbook, but I had these and the camera, and it rubbed up against it. And you can see that it rubbed off right here on the corner of my Fujifilm. I'm kind of believing that gear is here to work. And so I was okay that it kind of scuffed it up a little bit because this is my, everyday camera. I'm carrying it around and working with it. And so I don't really care too much about the fancy colors and scuffs and stuff, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's my everyday carry sling. I like having a few tools on here because if I go, for example, if we go take my wife's car somewhere, I have a few tools with me and a couple of sort of essentials just in case. And then they say the best camera is the one that you have with you. So I try to take this camera when I can to have kind of an option that takes some sort of good real photos. Lately, I've been taking my Pocket 3, like I said, with the battery handle, and that fits in here with all this as well. Real quick, I thought I would show a size comparison. You can see this is fully packed out. It's, pretty wide still. This one, much slimmer profile. And then this is sort of maybe in between the two. This here too is where you can add stuff. So it's kind of, it'll give out a little bit, but I thought I would try and fit my Freeride Traveler or sketchbook in these two and kind of show you what I mean by it doesn't fit my setup. So this guy, because this sticks out so far right here, it's pretty good getting the sketchbook back there. You can see it fits no problem. Lots of space still. Getting the Freeride Traveler back there is actually kind of a pain because it kind of sticks on these things. So you gotta kind of finagle it. There you go. And it does stick out a little bit, but still pretty good amount of space in here. This one has, these go wall to wall minus this one little flap. And this flap has little Velcro spots. I actually had to widen it to fit, but you can see the Freeride Traveler fits in here no problem, but you do sacrifice some of this space You also have the option of a sketchbook. And, you know, if that's what you want to carry, super, super awesome. If you want to fit both, it's kind of a pain. You basically have to get rid of all these, and then it would just become similar to the Peak Design bag. So, and kind of my thinking was, if I'm not going to be able to use the padding and the dividers anyway, I'll just keep the bag that I already have. I've been carrying this one for a while, but I wanted something with a little bit more padding for my camera. And then when I realized that I couldn't fit all the things I wanted to and have the padding, I just sacrificed the padding in favor of fitting all the things I wanted. So yeah. Okay, and so like I was saying earlier, one thing that I like about this bag is I can open this part way, reach in here, you know, grab this, or if I have my camera, my pocket through right here at the end, I can grab out my camera, grab out my pencil, whatever, and you don't have to unzip the bag the whole way. But when you do, you have this pretty big opening. So yeah, they all have 2 zippers. So you can have it open on either side. But these ones just, you have to open it a little bit bigger to get anything out of it because of how stiff the fabric is. And like this, the one Sling, whatever, this one, if you had stuff in the lid, it's really hard to just open it part way because the shape of the lid is rectangular. Like if there's stuff up here, it doesn't bend. So you'd have to open it all the way to get this lid out of the way. And when I had batteries up here and stuff, it became really heavy. So kind of an inconvenience, not a huge deal. Just depends how you load it up. Okay, this is the most preppery bag that I have, and I thought I would just go over it really super quick. Random patch, bad decisions make good stories. I stand by that. Okay, so it's kind of a lot of random things. Some of them are more niche, but real quick to go over it. Tweezers, nail clippers, a screwdriver. This is a nail file, screwdriver with some bits. This is, if you ever lost anything in an engine, it's a little magnetic extension, and it's come in handy a couple times to have that. So, and really the truth is, there are times where I didn't have it and I needed it, so now I carry one. This is a Fisher Space Pen. Right here is a pair of folding scissors. These are super cool. Basically, they just come out just like that. I like having some art supplies on me because I do so many random projects. It's nice having some extra features. This is Dramamine. So I had vertigo. The last flight I was on, I got vertigo. And since then, I have carried Dramamine. Like I said, back here, we have the Cobra Knipex pliers. It is this version, if you can see that. This is a spork. I heard somebody said they carried one, and I started doing it, and it's actually come in handy a lot. So you can see here, just a titanium spork. This here is my lockpicking set from Covert Instruments. It's part of the Genesis set and then a few extras from another one of their sets that they had a Black Friday deal on. We only pick locks that we are legally allowed to and that belong to us, of course. We never break the law, guys. Don't worry about it. But if we did, bad decisions make good stories. Okay. So this is my sling that I carry day to day. I usually keep it in my truck if I'm just like going grocery shopping. But if I go anywhere, I'm out and about, I'll take it with me. It fits in my locker at work, so I'll take it in there and I'll have access to my free write traveler or my sketchbook, for example, on my breaks and stuff. One of the things that I like about it is that it's kind of modular and I can fit enough things that I have stuff for wherever I'm going, but not so much that I'm like overburdening myself with a huge backpack for just like a small outing or a walk to the park or whatever, right? And they always say the best camera is the one that you have with you. So I love that I started carrying a camera more regularly. We were at the park the other day with my son, and I sort of took in my Osmo Pocket and was chasing him around a little bit. Super fun, just little things like that make it more fun to kind of go out and film or take pictures and stuff. And I love having my Fujifilm camera with me more regularly because I'll whip it out for little things. I've been leaving it in its cage, kind of using it more for video lately, but I love having the option to put it in here with the pancake lens and just take it around shooting. We went, walking down Main Street in Provo, Utah, for example, and I just pulled it out and took some pictures of the city and of my son and kind of different things. And just having a real camera is always nice. I feel like one of the things that I miss out on when I only have my iPhone is if I pull out my phone, it doesn't have that same feel. It's not tactile. And it doesn't feel like a serious photo, almost like it's just like, well, these are like throwaway photos. And I know you can take a lot of really great photos with an iPhone, but there's something different about a full-size camera with the tactile feel, with interchangeable lenses, and a lot more control and freedom and power that comes with a real camera. Obviously, to each his own. I say real camera, but like, do what you want. Take whatever you want. I think the important thing is that we're taking photos, and I love documenting things that I think are cool or fun or cute or funny or whatever. And yeah, to each his own. And I will say I do have a setup with a backpack and some other sort of a cube system that I have for different things depending on the situation. And I actually am really happy with my backpack. I can go over it. It's not a camera backpack, but I've kind of made it into a camera backpack option using some other sort of camera cubes and different things. I think it's a very good compromise between a bag that looks like a camera backpack and then a bag that functions well like a camera backpack without kind of having the louder kind of techie camera backpack look. And yeah, I'll do a video about that at some point, I'm sure. The other crazy place that I have a lot of sort of prepper EDC gear is my truck. There are cubbies and compartments everywhere. What are you gonna do, not use them? I mean, there's just space everywhere. And so I have a lot of random sort of gear in my truck almost all the time. And some of it rotates through depending on what I'm doing. For example, I keep pickleball gear in there when I'm like actively trying to play pickleball, but I don't keep it in there year round necessarily. Or when I hurt my knee, for example, didn't really carry it around. Felt like a reminder of things I didn't need. So there's that. But yeah, so I love like bags and tech and gear and things that are specialized for whatever the situation is. And so this is kind of my setup that's, I feel like a super niche kind of setup. Like who has a Free Route Traveler and sketchbook that they need to carry with all this other kind of specific stuff to me? And that's kind of the beauty of this bag or any bag, is that you can customize it to what you need. And so I think people get carried away with trying to optimize like an EDC setup. And it's like, just carry what you need. And over the course of time, you kind of will add or take away things. But the important thing is to be, going out in the world and having fun and using them and exploring and being with your family and all these things. And this bag has helped me do that for all its flaws and, pros and cons. I think it's a pretty good setup. I've always loved Peak Design. I have a few of their straps, their camera capture clip. I had an everyday backpack for a while. I think they had the 20-liter version. And yeah, I have a tech bag of theirs still and some other random accessories and stuff. And this outdoor sling feels like a departure from some of their more like modern, sleek, like tech camera bags and stuff. But I like that about it. It's not super loud that it's a camera bag. And for me, like when I go out, I don't feel like I'm a target of like, he's got expensive camera gear, but I could have, a fancy $2,000 camera body and lens or whatever, and nobody really cares. Honestly, in Utah, I feel like nobody really cares anyway. So anyway, when I'm traveling or whatever, I just feel kind of more comfortable having a sling that doesn't scream camera bag. And that's what I like about my backpack as well. So I'll do a video about that at some point. So yeah, if you have ADHD or a lot of hobbies, for example, like for me, this is sort of a creative option. So anywhere I go, I can write or sketch or plan or brainstorm or take photos or videos or whatever. And it makes me feel more confident going out because I know, okay, I have sort of a safety net of something to do instead of doom scrolling on my phone. Just things to be prepared, like, some tools and medication and Band-Aids and stuff, first aid kit. Yeah, thanks for watching.